So, Bismillah, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Today, inshallah, we'll just continue we'll start with chapter 2, but there is only one point I need to revise. Question number 9. By mistake, there was a mistake last session. When we solved this question, you remember question number 9 when we solved it? This one. Question number 9.
Yes, sir.
How we find the domain for this one? Just take the expression under the square root, then say it's more than or equal 0. Any problem for the domain?
No.
But when I grab this one and try to find the range, this one, when I try to find the range, by mistake, I make the range for the function without the square root.
Yeah.
So look at this one. When you want to graph it, the domain only would be from negative 20 to negative, from negative infinity to negative the square root of 20, and from positive root 20 to positive infinity. It means this part, this part, the yellow one, is not included at the graph. Is it right?
Yes.
Is not included at the graph. It means this part not belongs to the graph. Only the graph will be only this part. That is the graph of this function. Because you will accept, there is exception here from negative root 20 to positive root 20. So that will be only the graph. You get the idea for this one?
Yeah.
So what will be the range?
More than 0. More than or equal to
0. Start from 0.
Yeah.
So that's the mistake for this one. So I have to say it. Okay?
Yes.
Any problem for this one?
No.
Okay. So the main point, just we need to find, if you need to find the inverse, the main point that we look at the domain. The main point that we look at the domain. Khalas?
Yes, sir.
Any problem for this one?
No, sir.
No.
Sir Hussein is telling to let him in the meeting.
Just 1 minute. Okay. Because Hussein is asking about this one. I will repeat it again. Hussein, who is the one who's informed me about this one? Hussein. Yeah, Hussein. Alaikum assalam wa barakatuh. We just revised question number 9. That's the one that you sent it me yesterday. And I informed them about Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Abdurrahman. I informed them about the mistake that was in question number 9. By mistake, when we grab this one, to find the domain, we just take the expression under the square root, which is x power 2 minus 20, and they say that's greater than or equal 0, then we solve it. So we find the domain is from negative infinity to negative root 20, and from positive 20 to positive infinity. So when you graph the normal graph for this function, it's represented as a parabola. When I find the range, by mistake, I find it for the original parabola, not for the square root. The normal graph for the parabola is shifted 20 units down, so it will be at negative 20. Sorry, for this one, just 1 minute for this one. That's also by mistake. Which one? This one? Can we solve this one again, please? We need to solve this one again, please. Okay, how we solve this one? At the first, we need to find the domain.
First of all, yeah.
Find the inverse of the function. Number 1, find the domain. If you want to work with the function, number 1, find the domain. That is the main point of working with the function. So because there is some exception for the values of x, that we will not use it. So for any function, at the first, find if you will work with all of the values of x, or there is a values you will ignore these values. So number 1, find the domain. This function is a square root function. So how we can find the expression under the square root would be minus 20 is greater than or equals 0. Then x squared. Then after finding, it will be, after finding, how we can find this one? So it will be x
equal to root 20.
X minus root 20 and x plus root 20 is equal to 0. It means x is equals positive root 20 and x is equals negative root 20. It means at this value, the value of the function will be equal to 0. So that is the number line. That's negative root 20 and that's positive root 20. So you need the part which is greater than or equal to 0. It means above above the x-axis. So which part will be above the x-axis? Above the x-axis from negative 20 and going to the negative infinity, and from positive 20 and going to the positive infinity. So all of the value that you use from negative infinity to negative root 20 and from 20 to positive infinity. It means if you want to graph this function, you will not use any value between negative root 20 and the positive root 20. That's right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
So by
Yeah,
using
that's clear.
substitution, you'll find that the graph is looking like this one. That's a parabola, but this part is not continue. If you continue, you'll find that's a parabola. You understand it? Is it clear now?
Yes, sir.
So that is the domain. And the range will be starting from 0 and going up. Not from negative, from negative 20. We will start from 0 for this domain. Is it clear, this one? Any problem for this
Sir,
one?
Can you repeat again how to find range?
The range from the graph. Just graph the function.
Okay.
Just to graph the function. How you can graph the function? With an easy way, just choose the values from negative 20. What is it? From negative root 20. Negative root 20 to the power 2. It will be negative root 20 to the power 2 minus 20 under the square root. So it will be equals 20 minus 20 equals 0. So the lowest number here will be 0. If you choose any other number, it will be more than 0. Suppose that we say negative root 21 all to the power 2 minus 20 under the square root. So the answer now will be 1. So negative root 21 will be equals 1. If you're going again to the left, like the square root of negative root 24 to the power 2 minus 20, so you'll find that the answer will be 2. So negative root 24, the answer will be 2. You understand it? So that's from the graph. And even from the right side, if you use root 21, root 24, root 29, I'm choosing the value that has a square root. You understand why I'm using 21, 24, 20? Because if you subtract 20, you will find that a perfect square number. You understand it? Is it clear why I'm using root 21?
Yes, sir.
So find that the lowest number that you will find it, the lowest number, which is 0. You will not find any number smaller than 0. The answer of the square root must be positive or 0. A non-negative number is not non-negative number. So that's the mistake for yesterday. By mistake we solve it, and I'm solving for the parabola, and I'm not check this one. خلاص? So to be honest, I'm solving it again. Any problem for this one? You understand it?
No.
No?
Yes, sir.
Yes? Okay. اللهم بلغت. اللهم فشهدت. Type. How you can find the inverse from the graph? That's the easiest part for the lesson. And after that, we'll continue to chapter 2. That's the easiest part for the lesson. How we can find from the graph. What is the meaning of the inverse? What is the first step after the domain?
Like switching method? Like when we replace y with x and x with y?
This one. So for any ordered pair x and y, if you need to find the inverse, just you change, you swap. Yes, you find the inverse, so it will be y and x. So to find the inverse of any function using the graph with an easy way, if I give you the ordered pair and I said 3 and 5, what is the inverse for this one? You just say 5 and 3. Is this right?
5 and 3.
And any graph is formed from some points. So to find the inverse for any function, the easiest way, just find some points on the graph. So suppose that I'm talking about this point is 1.5 and 4. So the first point is 1.5 and 4. Choose any point. I'm choosing this one. I'm just choosing any point. This point is 1 and 2. Try to find a point that you can find its coordinate in. Why I'm choosing this point? This point is 0 and 1. I'm choosing another point which is -1 and 0. And choosing another point here like -1.5 and -2. -1.5 and the -2. Choose another point. Suppose that I'm choosing a point here, so it will be -2. It's about -2 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So -2 and the -5. It's approximately -2 and -5. So how we can find the inverse?
Which y and x?
Just switch it.
Yes, switch them. So it will
Just
be
swap places.
4, 1.5. The next will be 2 and 1. 1 and 0. 0 and -1. -2 and the -1.5. -5 and -2. Okay, so just put the point 4 and 1.5. That is the first point. The second point will be 2 and 1. 2 and 1. If you are not using the mic, please close the mic. 1 and 0. If you are not using the mic, please, if you are not using handset, please close the mic. -2 and 1.5 at this place. And the -5, so 2, 4, and the -2 about this place. So that's how the graph will be look like. That is the inverse. If you look at the inverse, you will find, just 1 minute, just 1 minute. If you look at the inverse, you will find that there is a reflection. Hey, please close the mic. Please close the mic. Who's talking now? Please use the handset. Wallahi, no problem for me to talk. If you can't find the handset or any mic, an external mic, please write a message on the Telegram, and I'm reading the message now. Halas? Because it's making echo for me, wallahi, because I put the speaker in my. Halas? So that is the inverse. To find the inverse, you will find that it's make reflection on the line. This line would be the line of reflection. This line is y equals x. Because you swap x instead of y and y instead of x, so that's the line of reflection y equals x. You will find each image has a, each point has an image on the by reflection on this line. Any problem for this one? Any problem for number 13?
Just one question, Mr.
No.
Do you always have to do 6 points? Do you always like have to graph 6 points?
Wallahi, if you look at me, if you just following me, I'm saying you can choose any point, but because if we have a curve, so choose the any number of points that you can identify the graph. If there is a line here for number 14, a line can be determined by only 2 points. So choose any 2 points to find a line. Any 2 points, like a point here which is 0 and 3. And another point here which is -2 and the -1. So if you have only 2 points, you can draw a line. For any 2 points, there is exactly one line is passing through them. But because you have a curve, you have to choose many number of points. As you can identify the graph. As you can graph the graph with a proper way. Halas? So because a line, so only I need 2 points. So it will be 3 and 0 and -1 and the -2. So I will mute all of you. I will mute all of you. No one will be able to talk now because wallahi I said more than one time. You are in grade 12. You can't control your mic. If you won't speak, raise your hand. So now we have 3 and 0, -1 and the -2. Now we can grab the line. That's the line. And they will find that they make a reflection on the line y equal x. That is the line y equal x. Any problem for this one? Any problem? Yeah, Amro.
Mister, on the first one, you can't just choose 2 points.
The first one?
Yes, to determine the line. Yeah.
You can't, because that's curve. How you can choose a line can be determined by only 2 points. Any line, if you have a line.
Okay.
A line can be determined by only 2 points, because for any 2 points, there is exactly one line passing through them. If you have any 2 points, you can draw only one line.
Makes sense, yeah.
But that's a graph. So which point I'm going? If I take 2 points, how the graph will be look like? If I put a 2 points like that, you can say that's the parabola. You can say that's line. You can say that's V shape. I don't know. You can say that's circle. It could be a circle. How I know from 2 points how the graph would be look like? Because the first one is a curve. Because the first one is the curve, the cubic function. So I'm choosing more than 1 point. How many points? As much as you can. By increasing the number of points, you will draw an accurate graph.
Yeah.
خلاص؟
Yes.
طيب يا سلطان. Sultan, unmute you.
So we just
قول يا سلطان. Sultan ما في.
oh sorry, I was just talking and I forgot to unmute. So basically we just put y into x and x into y, and that's it.
Yes, that is the inverse. That is the idea of the inverse. Changing x instead of y and y instead of x. That is the reflection on the line. That is the meaning of reflection on the line y equals x. That is the meaning of this one. If you want to find the reflection, there is 3 formulas. Reflection across, or 4 formulas. Reflection across x-axis, y-axis, origin point on the line y equal x. So the first one, if you have a point x and y, and you need to find the image by reflection across the x-axis. So what is the image?
Y and x.
Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Who know this one? I need to find the image by reflection across the x-axis.
Wait, so it would be x and y, and then it will go to x and negative y.
Yes, to find the image by reflection. I opened the mic for anyone. The question is, if you have a point x and y and you need to find reflection across the x-axis, so the image would be x and the negative y.
X
only change the sign of y.
Yeah.
So if you want to find the reflection, that's my question. I didn't say anything wrong. I didn't say to anyone wrong.
Yeah.
If you need to find the reflection across the y-axis, so what is the image?
Y will be stable, and then x will be positive and negative.
So negative x and y. If you want to find the reflection across the origin point,
I'm both going to be
minus
so negative x and negative y. If you want to find reflection across the line y equals x, so just to change and keep the same sign. So it will be y and x. That is the 4 formulas for the reflection. So to find the reflection, the mean for the inverse, it's mean find the image of the graph across the line, the image of the graph by reflection across the line y equals x. Y equals x, it's mean just to change the set of order there. So that is the meaning of the reflection. That is was the last point for chapter 1. So now we will start with chapter 2, lesson 1, and we will start with the power and radical function. So at the first, I will talk about the polynomial function. The polynomial function.
Okay.
Any function raised to an integer number, a power with an integer number. X is not, sorry.
Sorry to interrupt. Do we take 1.5 or do we skip that?
What is the name of the lesson? 1.5. That's 1.5. Parent function and transformation.
Oh, okay.
You will find the video. 2 videos.
Did we skip 1.6?
Maybe my order is different than the order of the book.
Yeah, we did this one.
You will find 2 videos, I think, or 3 videos for this one. I sent it to the group.
Yeah.
I sent the name of the lesson with the number of videos. Okay.
Yeah.
So again, we'll go back to the polynomial function. The polynomial function, that's in a function. We can easily explain it with an easy way. The x raised to an integer number. A positive integer number. It's not 0, it's not negative. خلاص كده? Any problem for this one?
Yes.
Okay.
No.
And the x is not written at denominator. X is with not with a decimal power or a fraction. And the x is not written under the square root. So we have 2 cases now. The first one, if the power is even or the power is odd. If the power is even for any function, the main power, the degree, the main power, which is the highest power. If the highest power is even, you will find that the 2 end behavior of the function are going up or going down. for any power, even power, 2, 4, 6, 8, you will find that the two end behavior of the function are going up or going down. How we can know that? Just look at the leading coefficient. What is the leading coefficient? Which is A. If A is positive, it means the two end behavior are going up. N is even, and the leading coefficient is positive number. N, this power is even number. It means the two end behavior are going up or going down. When we can say that it's going up or going down, it's depend on A, which is the leading coefficient. The coefficient of X, which has the greatest power. If A is positive, A positive value, it means the two end behavior of the function are going up. If A is negative, the two end behavior of the function are going down. Any problem for this one?
No.
Okay. What if we have here N is odd number? N is odd number, it's mean we have two cases now. But for the N is odd number, one of the end behavior is going down and the other one is going up. Which one is going up or down? It's depend on the A, which is the leading coefficient. If the leading coefficient is positive, we will start from down, then going up. The normal, we start from down, then going up. But if A is negative number, the leading coefficient, the normal, you start from down and going up. But if A is negative, it means the inverse. Inverse, it means you will start from up, then going down. So that is the difference for this one. We always start from left to right. From left to right. You know why we start from left to right? Not from right to left? The reason why we read the function from left to right? I explained it before.
Start from negative and go to positive.
Which negative?
Like that.
Which negative?
The X negative.
Yes, this one.
That's
because we said that we have dependent and independent. Y is depend on X. So we just start from X. If you want to read anything, you start reading. If I ask you to count, you're just counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. You start from the smallest number to the greatest number. But now we have a positive and negative. So which number that we have to start? From the negative side. So we'll start reading X from the negative, then going to the positive. So after that, because Y is depend on X, so we will follow the same. I will start reading the function from left to right. That's the reason for reading the function from left to right, not from right to left, because Y is depend on X. Any problem for this one? Any problem for this one?
No.
Okay.
Can you just one more time, sir?
Which one?
Can you just scroll up a little bit?
Yeah, for the first one.
With this one?
Yeah.
I just say when N is even number, the two end behavior are going up or going down.
Yeah.
It's depend. If the number is positive, this part you have to memorize it. This part you have to memorize it. No way. You have to memorize it. Because that's formula. That's formula. I know that's easy, but after one lesson, you will forget my name. That's a problem. So, because of that, I said this part. Anything related to the formula, you have to memorize. So if N is even number, the power is even number, it means the two end behavior are going up or going down. It's depend on the leading coefficient. The leading coefficient is positive, it means you are going up. If the leading coefficient is negative, the normal is going up. The normal, you start from down, then going up. So the two end behavior are going up. There is a minimum point and there is no maximum because you are going to positive infinity. But because A is negative, it means you have a reflection. Reflection is mean you start from up, then going down. So the two end behavior are going down. That's the normal. The normal for anything, you start from down to up. That is the normal. Class? Okay. So we need to graph. I need just to sketch the graph. How the graph will be look like for this one. We need to graph and analyze each of the following functions. Describe the domain and range and intercept where the graph intersects in the x-axis, y-axis. We need to identify the end behavior and the continuity and where the function is increase and decrease. For number one, how the graph will be look like?
It'll be a normal
it'll be going
quadratic.
upward.
It's a parabola. It's open upward because we have here, and we have only transformation, which is half. It's mean compressed vertical and stretch becomes wider. So now we have that's the parabola. It becomes wider. Okay. So number one, we need to, that's the first one we need to graph. We graph it. Number two, we need to describe the domain and range. What is the domain?
A domain is from negative infinity to positive infinity.
Yes, from negative infinity to positive infinity, or you can say that the domain is R. If you just write by one of the ways, it will be okay. The range?
Greater than or equal to
0 to
0.
infinity.
So y is greater than or equal to 0 because range for y and the domain for x. Why the domain is greater than or equal to 0? Because any number, if you raise it to an even power, the answer would be 0 or positive number. You will not find a negative number from power 4 or power 2 or power 6. After that, we just find the domain and range. Number 3, we need to find the intercept. So I need to find the x-intercept.
0.
Where the graph intersects the x-axis. It intersects the x-axis at the point 0. And y-intercept?
0.
Also at 0. Okay. So the end behavior. How we can find the end behavior?
Limit
That's number
if
4.
the
Sorry,
function,
that's number
the limit
2.
if the function,
And that's number 3. And now we need to find number 4. Okay.
limit if the function is going towards the negative infinity, the function goes towards positive infinity.
Yes.
Yeah. And if the
limit from the left side, the function
goes positive infinity.
Okay.
And if the limit goes towards the positive infinity, the function goes towards positive infinity.
Limit when x is going to positive infinity, the function is going to positive infinity also. That is the limits we need. After that, after describing the limit, just 1 minute, we need the continuity. The function is continuity or discontinuity.
Continuous.
Continuous.
Yeah.
Why continuity function?
Because there is no
there is no
no
gaps,
gap.
there is no gaps, there is no jumping, there is just if you start graphing, you continue graphing without removing the pen. Alhamdulillah, you understand now. Alhamdulillah, inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi. After 3 years, wallah. So we finished the continuity, and now we need to find the increasing and decreasing. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Wallah, if you solve it wrong, ya Shafi, just 1 minute. Yeah, just 1 minute.
Wallahi,
just 1 minute.
Wallahi,
Leave Shafi
I got
solve
this
it.
one. I got this one.
Alhamdulillah.
Okay.
Say it, Shafi, please. Wallahi. I will kill myself, ya Shafi, if you didn't solve it.
Okay, no problem. I won't let that happen.
So suicide not a joke.
Just 1 minute, please. Just 1 minute.
Okay. From negative infinity to 0.
Increase or decrease?
Decrease.
Yes, alhamdulillah, wallahi. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. Decreasing?
From
Decreasing
negative
from
infinity to 0.
Negative infinity to 0. Must be open. Both of them must be open. For increasing and decreasing must be open.
Yeah.
And increasing?
From 0 to positive.
Alhamdulillah. Ashhadu anna la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. Okay, for number 3. For number 3, it will be the same also. The same graph, because we have here x to the power 6. This will be the same graph. There is no transformation. Only the transformation that we have here dilation. Dilation, the function is compressed horizontal and stretch vertical. So only the graph will be narrow. Only that's the difference between them. And you will follow the same. The domain also will be the same, and range, intercept, limits, continuity, and is increasing and increasing. Any problem for number 3?
No.
Any problem for number 3? Because we are going to number 5.
No.
Number 3, any problem?
Where did 4 go?
Number 5.
No. Okay.
How the graph will be in number 5?
It will be reflected across the x-axis.
Hasbi Allah wa ni'mal wakeel.
No, wait, no. Sorry.
It will be increasing, then decreasing.
It'll be irrational, right?
Hussein, wallahi. Wallahi, I appreciate that, Hussein, wallahi.
So should we solve 3 and send it?
أنت معنا Hassan, you are with us at the session.
Yes,
we're just discussing now. We're just discussing. I'm solving 1, 3, and 5. You will solve 2, 4, and 6.
Okay, sir.
Okay, just wait. So understand this one.
It's gonna be. It's gonna be like the cubic function, but.
So was that right or wrong?
Just 1 minute, ya Hussein. Just 1 minute. You said right.
Okay.
So I need to listen from them. What your answer is right. What you said is right.
Mine?
What is the type of this function?
Sure.
Just give me any answer, even if the answer is wrong.
Fractional.
It's a fractional function.
Fractional.
Why fractional function?
Yeah.
It's a reciprocal function. Why?
Because x to the power -2.
This
becomes
one,
x to
this
the
one,
power,
yes, this one. It will be rational function. Rational because we have here x
Yeah.
raised to a negative power. So we said that it's
Yeah.
not polynomial. All what we said now, we are talking about polynomial. Why polynomial? Because n is a positive integer, not negative. If you when I'm explaining this part, I said the power must be positive number, not negative. If that's negative, it means x will be written down. You just find the reciprocal for the function, so it will be reciprocal function. So the new form for this function will be 3 over x to the power
x
2.
squared. Yeah.
So because now we have x is not polynomial, the polynomial function, the domain is R. So there is no exception. So we are solving. But now we have a condition. What is the condition that we have?
Yeah, the denominator cannot be 0.
Yes, that's the first one. The denominator is not equal to 0. So the first point, you need to find the domain. From the domain, you can say that x squared is equal to 0. It means x is equal to 0, and that will be the vertical line of asymptotes.
Yeah.
So we have here the domain, the first point that we need to find, which is the domain. What is the domain?
Domain from negative
is
infinity.
R from negative infinity to 0 and 0 to positive infinity, or we can say that R except.
Yeah.
Both of them are right, by the way. Your answer is right. Which one is easy for you? No problem.
Yeah.
Number 2, we need to check because we have a fraction. Is there any line of asymptote, horizontal line or not?
No.
How you know that's the cases? We have 3 cases, if you remember.
Yeah.
What are the 3 cases? To know that if there is a horizontal line or not.
Okay. That's like
right or wrong, no problem.
Same power.
Yes, this one. Just 1 minute. The first one, a is smaller than b. A of x, the function is written as f of x is equals a of x over b of x. The function of the numerator is smaller than the denominator. The function of numerator is equal to, the degree is equal degree, not a, not the coefficient, the degree. When I say a, I'm talking about the degree, not the coefficient. Degree, the power. And a is greater than b. What is the first one?
It's
Is it 0?
It's
no,
y
it's not
equals
0.
0. Y
It's,
equals 0. The second one?
A over B.
1.
The coefficient of a over the coefficient of b of x. Just take the leading coefficient over the leading coefficient. Y equals the leading coefficient over the leading coefficient. What about the third one?
There's no solution.
There is no horizontal line. No
line,
line of asymptote. No horizontal line. So look at this one. Which type? The first or the second or the third case? Look at the leading coefficient. Look at the power here. Look at the power at the first degree.
It's the first one.
The first one. So it means we have horizontal line of asymptote. Horizontal line of asymptote, it means?
Is asymptote at 0.
Yes. So the range will be all values except
0.
You know, from another way, how you know that the answer is not equal to 0? Why we choose 0, especially 0? You know?
I don't get the question.
Sure,
Just
I
give
read
me
about this in a
just
limit.
we need to think about this one. Why for this one?
Sure, I read about this in a limit
there won't be any
when
solution at that value.
Just 1 minute, Huzaifa, Shafai.
I read about this in a limits rule when a limit is approaching towards negative or positive infinity and we have a dominating power and denominator, the limit becomes 0. That means
Why?
the vertical asymptote is off.
Why? We need to say it with an easy way. Your answer is right, no problem.
Won't the range be anything greater than 0?
If you have a square root. Greater than or equal square root. If the root written at denominator, it will be only greater than.
Sir, it's 0. It cannot be there. What was the question again? Can you repeat?
Why the answer here is not equal to 0? The range that is the answer.
Yeah.
Is this right? We said the domain, the value that you use instead of x. Y, which is the answer? The range, which is y. So y, the range will be the answer that you will find. You will find all of the answer except 0. Why you will find all of the answer except 0?
Because they are defined for other values. The function is defined for the other values except 0.
Look at the fraction a over b. This fraction is true if b is not equal 0. That's right?
Yeah. Yes.
And is equal to 0. A over b is equal to 0. That's only if a equals 0. The only case that the answer of division is 0, the only case that the answer of fraction, it's been divided. Fraction like the ratio, you're just comparing between two numbers by division. Is that right? You understand this point? You're just comparing between two numbers by division. So when you divide two numbers, the quotient is 0 only if the dividend is 0. If the numerator is 0, that is the only case that you will find that the answer will be 0.
What about the denominator?
Can you divide a number by 0?
No.
Okay, so that's the first rule. We said you can divide any number by 0. Number 2, if 0 divided by any number, the answer will be?
0.
0. Can you find the answer will be 0 if you divide any two numbers except 0? 0 divided by any number?
No.
No. So the only case that you will find, the only case that you will define that the answer will be 0, that's only if the numerator is 0. If the numerator here is equal to 0,
no.
So you will not find 0. So you will find all of the answers except 0. You understand now for this one why we're choosing this one? Why you said that or why we choose? We have here horizontal line of asymptotes is equal to 0.
Yes, sir.
Just understanding the concept. The concept is important for this one. So that's a small point that you can find it without going to the limits. Just it's math. I'm just using the one. So how the graph will be look like? How the graph will be look like? If you have here any a over x where a is a positive number, so what is the graph will be look like?
It's just how
a is like positive number. A is positive number. خلاص? Okay.
Okay.
A is
positive number. Yeah, it's just gonna be half parabola on the positive side.
Here, like that.
Yeah. Yes.
No.
Can you repeat the question?
Again for this one. How the graph will be look like for the function any positive number over x. Any positive number over x, x power 3, x power 4, x power 3, power 5, power 7, power 9, and any odd power. If an odd power written at denominator, and we have at the numerator, the normal is 1. The normal is 1. That is the parent function. That is the parent function. 1 over x. By changing 1, which is 2, 3, 4, that's the type of the transformation, which is dilation only. خلاص? Leave the negative now. Leave the negative. Negative, it's mean reflection. Leave negative. Just we are solving for 1 over x. How the graph will be look like? Just think about it.
1 over x. It'll be a reciprocal function graph, right?
Yes. How the graph will be look like? And which quadrant? You have 4 quadrants. 1, 2, 3, 4. Because we have because we have 2 lines of asymptote. The vertical line. And that is the horizontal line of asymptotes.
So we in 1.
In 1?
It would be like from 0. It would like I don't know how to explain it. Right, it goes from like
type. We can think about it. We can think about it by increasing the value of x. The value of the function will increase or decrease.
Increase.
Type. We can compare. I said x equals 1. Just 1 minute. 1 minute. When I say x equals 1, so it will be 1 over 1. That's right?
Yeah.
1 over 2. 1 over 3. 1 over 4. 1 over 5. The graph now is increasing or decreasing?
Decreasing.
Decreasing. By increasing the value of x, the graph will increasing. So you will find that the graph is going like that. Suppose that you divide by a fraction, like 1 over 1 over 2, 1 over 1 over 4, 1 over 1 over 5. What will happen? The denominator of the denominator will be going up. It means the answer now will be 2, 4, 6. It means the graph is going up by this way. You understand how the graph will be look like? That is the graph.
And then it will be reflected.
That is the first, just 1 minute. That is the first positive part. What if x is negative? You will find that will be the same. So that's how the graph will be look like. That's only if a here is odd number. A is odd number. Because the odd number keep the same sign. If the number that you use instead of x is positive, the answer will be positive. If the number that you use is negative, the answer will be negative. Is that clear?
But since it's even, it's going to be both.
What if we use a is positive number? Like 2, 4, 6, 8, and so on. 1 over x to the power 2. When you choose any positive value, you will find the same. But when you choose any negative value,
it will also be positive.
It will also be positive. So when you choose -1, you will find that the answer will be at the positive part of y. So that's how the graph will be look like. You understand the difference between them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Understand it now? Any problem for this one?
No.
No, sir.
Okay. So that's the graph for the function now. This one I will draw it here. Just 1 minute. Because we finish. So that's how the graph will be look like. That is the first part. And that is the second part. If you can't draw, just use a point by substitution. So now we need to describe the domain and range. What is the domain for this one?
Okay.
All values except 0.
All values except 0. What is the range?
Yeah. All values except 0.
Not all values.
More than
If you remember the mistake that we did last time.
Yes. More than 0.
More than 0. If you remember the mistake that we did, we solved for y power 2 minus 9. But for this one, we need to graph to find how the graph will be look like. There is exception, which is y equals, there is exception for the horizontal line, that the answer will not be equal 0. But it will be above 0. All of the answer must be more than 0, positive number. So the range now will be?
More than 0.
Y is greater than 0. Okay. Yeah. Now we need to describe the domain and range. That's number 2. Khalas, we finish. Intercept.
There's no intercept.
There is no x-intercept and there is no y-intercept. After that, we need to find the end behavior.
When the function is going towards negative infinity, the function goes positive. When it goes towards positive infinity, goes positive.
How many graphs that we have now?
2.
It's discontinuity function. Is that right? That's discontinuity function. So we need to identify. That's the graph number 1 and that's graph number 2. So it means we have 4 end behavior. For each graph, there is 2 end behavior. One from left, one from right. So because we have 2 graphs, it means we have 4 end behavior. What is the end behavior that we have? For the first one, number 1. Limit when x tends to negative infinity. The function is going to?
Negative infinity. No.
Yeah, negative.
Going to 0.
Going to be 0. Approach to be 0. It's close to be 0. And at the positive, at the right side, limit when x is approached to be 0. At the right side, because it will be approached to be 0, but it will not be equal 0. The function
positive infinity
is going to positive infinity. That will be the same. When the function, limit when x approach to be 0, the function is going up to positive infinity. Limit when x is approached to be positive infinity, the function is approached to be 0.
0.
Any problem for this one?
No.
Okay, then we can say that's discontinuity, and the function is increasing at the first part from negative infinity to 0 and decreasing from 0 to positive infinity. Any problem?
No.
مية
Yes.
ما في كده